Brad from Pro Wrestling Junkies, and welcome to another episode of Toilet Side Wrestling Talk. Today's guest hails from the great state of New York to some, and began wrestling in 2004. She's worked for such promotions as New York Wrestling Connection, Creative Pro, Women's Superstars United, Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, Warriors of Wrestling, to name a few. She's the current Warriors of Wrestling Women's Champion for the third time, and is also one half of the Empower Tag Team Champions with Candy Cartwright. She's the first and only woman to hold the New York Wrestling Connection tag team titles, and along the way has shared the ring with the likes of Marty Bell, Brittany Savage, Nyla Rose, Orange Cassidy, Matthew Justice, Sonny Kiss, Mercedes Martinez, just to name a few. If you want to check out some of her matches, you can find them on IWTV as well as YouTube. So let's welcome today's guest, the Black Rose, Nikki Addams. Hey, Nikki, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you very much. My first question I always ask is, that was you in all those clips, correct?
Yeah. And I was watching it and you picked like everything that made me look good. So thank you.
Yeah, oh, well, you'd be surprised at the time I have as a stay-at-home father of the things I'm able to do.
Yeah, no, that video was really impressive overall. So.
Oh, okay. Thank you. You know what? I can ask you this. This is a non-wrestling question. It's just a women's perspective question of something that kind of happened to me in the last hour. So say your partner has like this work thing, it's like a picnic for someone's birthday. They have it every year, blah, blah, blah. Right. And then your partner didn't invite you and has taken her friend. Should I be offended by that, do you think? Now, I'll give you a little piece of information. I wouldn't want to go anyways, but...
The thought, okay.
Yeah, should I get offended by that?
I mean... It depends. Was it out of maybe like being with you, the person knows you really well and be like, well, they're not going to want to go, so I'm going to save them the trouble and make them feel there's no pressure to go. And then a friend, then I'd say that that's completely okay and be like, well, they know you really well. So
yeah.
And they want to take somebody and don't want to have to make you feel obligated. I think that would be cool. If it's kind of not like that, maybe just be like, well, you could have asked.
She's like, well, it's going to be, the whole dance department. I'm sure everybody was talking about dance, and my friend who I'm bringing, these were all her, teachers and stuff, blah, blah, blah. But she also knows that I've been living in this town because of her for the last year, and I don't know anyone. So I was like, oh, it might be great to interact with people who are over 11, But whatever. But at the end of the day, someone's got to stay with the kids, and it's got to be me because we don't have a babysitter. So
I think knowing all of that, I think there was only good intention there.
Okay.
Because if somebody needs to be there with the kids, and then she thinks that maybe it wouldn't be something of your comfort or of your knowledge, like if it's dance and that's not your thing. I think that was just kind of like
she was trying to do me a favor.
Malicious or to make, I think that was just kind of meant to be a nice thing, and I think that's my opinion.
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you, because it actually does make me feel better, and I won't have to give anyone the silent treatment when I get out of here. Yeah, guys, can you watch wrestling? Specifically WrestleMania as a fan anymore?
Yes and no. I think that would be a fair way to answer it. I can watch things and enjoy it and be like, wow, that was great. And then, but there's always kind of that wrestling aspect to it. It's just like, I'm like, I see why they did that. Or you start thinking about it in the depth of like, I guess like if you were going to have a match. So
yeah.
It's kind of a 50-50. Like I can enjoy things and like be like, wow, as I watch it. But like a lot of times I also think about the wrestling aspect of it as well. So I'd say a 50-50.
So like half of it is kind of like dissecting and research. And then half of it is, enjoying it as like someone like me.
Yeah.
Or like you. I don't mean like that we're any different.
No, I know what you mean. But like, yeah. And it's like it's like, because you like learn these things and like you would know what you would do, and then you see things, or if you're like, it's like there it is, like the thing.
Yeah.
When you learned and stuff like that, I'd be like, well, at this point, I know that like that would be the next step, and then you see it and you're like, awesome.
Oh, okay, that's all. So, obviously, you probably didn't wrestle as much as you would like to this past year, I imagine.
I tried to retire.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Happen.
Like
COVID happened, but like it's like I was retired, but COVID happened anyway.
Yeah, this whole pandemic stole your thunder.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
So are you gonna treat 2020 to 2021 as you were going to for 2020?
Well, that would have been retirement anyway.
Yeah.
But that didn't exactly go the way I thought it would. And everyone always says that, like, you never really retired. And I was sitting there and I'm like, oh, you'll see. It's me. I'm going to stick to it.
Yeah, I'm the different one.
Like, clearly I'm just a hypocrite, but
yeah.
No, some things changed, and like mentally, like things changed too.
Sure.
It's like you're trying, like, since I started wrestling, like, my parents, like, they made sure that, like, I was always on the straight and narrow. It's like they would give you what you needed always. And, sorry, my cat is going to definitely invade this video.
No worries.
Yeah, he's definitely, you just saw him briefly walk by.
Can I tell you something real quick? That
sure.
Just reminded me of, most cats hate the pitch of my voice.
No, he's the friendliest cat ever.
Oh, I'm scared of cats. And I used to, my wife, until it died, we lived with one. I was constantly frightened. It was awful.
No, he's good. He's actually, I don't know if you could see it. We'll see if we can do it.
Yeah, let's see.
There he is.
Oh, yeah. Just lounging.
Yeah, he's just hanging out. So he'll pop in and out. He's super friendly.
Does he sleep 20 out of 24 hours a day?
Probably. I mean,
okay.
I'm out a lot because of work and stuff, but I wouldn't doubt it. Like, he probably sleeps, occasionally gets up to eat, plays with his toys for a little bit, then he's probably exhausted and goes back to sleep. It's a hard life.
So like if you come home and you're on your couch watching TV, the cat will be, come to you and interact?
Yeah, he's in my business 24/7.
Oh, okay.
24/7. And he's not like a normal cat, because there'll be other times where he gets super needy. And like he'll get on the table and specifically like stand on his hind legs against me, and he'll like pick me up. And like cats don't usually like that. So I'm
no.
Yeah, it's a needy.
Yeah, they might be part orangutan.
Needy, huh?
Needy.
Yeah, you. Yeah.
It's just that cat.
Oh yeah, he's my only cat. My last cat was like that too. He was very, very clingy, which is sweet, but like,
yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's kind of like having a little baby.
Yeah, he's a baby. You're a baby. Yeah, you.
My dog has to wear diapers 24/7 now, and it's like a little baby. Like, she'll roll onto her back, and you do it's the exact same thing as it looks really funny.
Poor thing.
Okay, let's get back to let's skip all the way back until when you were younger, as a young Nikki growing up and seeing the world. As a kid, what was like your demeanor? Were you active? Or were you more reclusive?
Interesting. I went through different phases as I was growing up. When I was a kid, I was very active, a tomboy, because I kind of always am. Like, obviously, I will dress up and be very feminine at times.
Sure.
But then, like, on my regular day, I'm pretty casual, just wearing my sneakers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I from a kid, very always outside, something that kids don't do. Just saying, but I enjoy a lot of things that guys did too, like cars. Like, I was literally like in the dirt playing as a kid. I don't know.
Did you ever get worms?
No, I was.
Okay.
I don't know. My parents, like, they get like an A++. Like, I don't know. Like, shout out to them, because I don't think I'd be, not to sound like, but like, I know that I'm a good, solid person and I can handle and maintain life, and like without them providing me with what I needed to like do that, I wouldn't have been. So shout out to them for making me a relatively functional person that can like handle things.
And if they're ever looking to adopt a soon to be 45-year-old man, I'm just throwing it out there. They sound awesome.
They're cool, but they're strict. Like, my dad is no BS, and you know what? It works. Like, that's probably how it should be.
Yeah. Do you find like you see things you do that are actually like your dad? You know what I mean? Like, oh, my dad would have said this.
Both of them. Like, something will happen and it's like your typical moment, or like, oh, I'm my mom, or oh, I'm my mom.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, then you literally are like, oh. But you know, it's not
in
wrong.
reality.
So you're just like, they did, like, to all like the younger people that are like, I know everything. You don't. And I sit here today being like, yeah, they always knew better. So even now, I'm just like, if I will literally be like, well, what would they do? Because they've experienced a lot more than I have. So
yeah.
I don't know it all, and I'm not going to pretend to know it all.
Well, that's a good attitude, because a lot of people pretend like they know it all.
I definitely don't, because you can't. Like, how could you possibly? Like, each day you go on, you learn something new, you experience something new.
Every day is a new experience in your life. You know, anything could happen.
For someone to literally sit there and just say that they genuinely know it all, I think would be very ignorant.
Yeah. Did you have siblings?
I do. I have a sister and I have a brother, and they are both older than me.
Okay. Was your sister a tomboy?
No. And my sister was not very active when we were younger.
Oh, okay.
She was more like, she had friends. She was more like reclusive, though. Like, weird, like social, but yet like she'd like to be in her room and read a lot. And like I'd be outside like that. Like, we were very opposite like that. But then as I like, she's also 5 years older than me. So like, when she probably did that stuff, obviously I was like really young, like, you know. So like, when I was 5 outside being active, she was already 10 and probably like beyond that. When I started to get like older, so like as like early teens and stuff, I kind of was more like that as well. And not like antisocial because I just didn't like people, but I was extremely shy. So it's like I'd be afraid to talk to people or whatever. Like, we noticed, like, I was so shy in middle school. Like, I was fine until I got to, I guess, middle school. I was so shy in middle school and high school that, like, public speaking classes would debilitate me. Like, it would be like, I can't do this.
Then let me ask you.
Obviously, you did it, so you didn't fail, but it was, like, the hardest thing in that moment for you to do.
Sure. Did you go to homecoming or prom, or the one where the women ask the girls ask the guys?
I didn't go to... No, I think I might have went to homecoming in my senior year, and that's because like my couple of friends were going, and they're like, "Oh, it would be fun." And I was like, okay. But again, like I had fun, but I was really shy and reserved, and I just hung out with them. And I actually did go to prom, but at that point, I wasn't as shy anymore. I wasn't really worried about like my peers, because it's like after that, like I'm never gonna see you again.
Yeah, totally. So, like, 99% of those people.
Game changer. And I remember I only went because the person I went with, they didn't have a problem. Like, they went to private school. So it was
Okay.
actually my coworker, and I'm just like, oh. And like, they
Awesome.
kept saying how like they were bummed out about it. So I was like, I could do this, because like, even if like I feel uncomfortable, I'll like probably almost never see any of these people I went to school with again.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's like having a pass to say whatever you want to somebody, you know, that you've always wanted to. Like, I don't like how you blah, blah, blah. And then you'll never see them again.
You know,
But those opportunities don't present themselves that often.
right? It's weird because like every once in a while, like I guess I come into contact with someone from like that time period, and I was bullied. Like, I was shy, I was made fun of. You know,
Mhm.
when like Facebook first became like major, and I
Yeah.
actually like I didn't make one right away. Like, it was out for a few years before I made one. But
Okay.
like, it's weird. Like, I'd get friend requests and I'd read like the names of the people, and I'd be like, that's funny, and I just accept it because it's like there. It's like on like Facebook.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
a few times I would get messages from people saying that they were sorry about how they acted. And like,
Oh, wow.
you know, what do you like? I'm not ever gonna be mean about it. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much. And
Do you
that was
remember
that.
those bad things though?
Oh, you
That
know, like
they were
something
apologizing?
really mean. Like, you know, they would like just make fun of you, or like just anytime. Like, that's why like you wouldn't want to publicly speak, because you're like, you're gonna go up there and just get ridiculed for
Yeah,
who knows
yeah.
what, because they decided that they were popular and they decided that you weren't. So it's just like, we're just gonna make fun of you. So it's just, I guess, for berating you for years. They're like, sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, totally. I know I probably screwed you up into your 20s, you know. So were you on any like high school teams?
No, no, not in like school. Like, if I did some stuff, but like
Okay.
it wasn't like part of the school, because again, I'm just like, I'm not being open to like ridicule.
So
So it's
these
like, yeah.
so the people at your senior prom, would they be shocked that you're a pro, or whenever they've learned in this time that you're a pro wrestler?
Probably, because like I literally was very quiet, very shy. Even when I started wrestling training,
Mhm.
I was still like, it took a really long time for me to not be like that anymore. Like,
Okay.
at training, I was almost silent. And then when we would like go in there, there's like, you're silent. So I remember going into like my first show, like I was prepared enough to have a match, but
Yeah.
they were like, oh, she's gonna have no personality, she's not gonna make any sound at all. And then being like, well, you know, we're gonna see what happens.
Mhm.
And like, fortunately, like being put on the spot and actually being in the situation,
Sure.
like I was able to respond to that. But like afterwards, go like right back to being silent.
Oh gosh. It's like where they like
Yeah.
it's like she's walking down the ring to her bat mitzvah, you know, like for the first
Yeah,
time.
like fortunately, like in the actual like time of going out to the curtain and going back through the curtain, it's like I was like the character that I was supposed to be, and like had personality, reacted, made noise, got hit, made a sound, like got fired up and stuff, and then like go right back into that and
Oh
silent.
gosh.
Yeah.
Do you then when you like get home, are you able to just release
I mean,
and
I
not
was
have
not
like
shy with myself, so it's just like I was
no, that's
just
what I'm
a
like. Is that
normal
like
person.
nice? You're not lonely. You have
Oh,
yourself
like
and you
nowadays I'm not really shy at all, and like
okay.
everyone that knows me really well, like you go on can make a friend out of nowhere. Like, I'll be friends with a broom or something. They're like, you can talk to me. So like that is a thing. Like, I guess so. Like, I think that I got coffee yesterday.
So
Perfect.
so if you weren't on any like athletic teams in high school and stuff, who exposed you to wrestling for the first time?
Oh, I watched wrestling always on TV. Like, I remember
Okay.
watching it, like it was on. Like, my dad liked it. My dad ended up growing like out of it, I guess, with like the way
Okay.
things changed. Like, he obviously like enjoyed Bret Hart, Macho Man, like
Yeah.
that. But I just continued to really enjoy it and like it, and just kind of stuck for me.
Okay.
And at some point, I guess I got the idea that I just felt like I could do it and I wanted to try it. And even though I was like really shy, I'm like, well, can I? I'm like, I'm going to be too shy to be there.
Yeah.
But like basically what it came down to was I didn't want to get to a point where I was older and said, wow, you didn't even try. Like that thought alone was what bothered me the most and what essentially pushed me enough to start looking up schools like by me and like researching them and actually finally making the phone call and the appointment to go meet with the trainers and watch class. And then from that, after I was there, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to try and we'll just see what happens.
Now, does at this period, in this time period, does anyone know that you're doing this? Like that you've made this decision that I would like to become a pro wrestler and train?
At that point,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Like, did your friends know that you watched wrestling even?
maybe they might have. I don't remember that as far because I know that they weren't wrestling fans. So it's like they probably did know, but it was just not something we talked about because it wasn't their interest. Like it was like, oh,
Sure.
you like wrestling, cool, and like you like something else, cool. And like it was just like my own thing. So it's like they probably knew. I don't remember hiding it. Like I remember just none of them having that common interest with me.
Yeah.
And I do remember talking to my parents about it.
That's
and them
my
being
next
like,
question.
What? Yeah, they were like, what?
Did it
But,
did
like,
it come out of
turns
left
out, like,
field
they
for
were
them?
concerned. Probably.
Okay.
Like knowing that I liked it wasn't shocking, but probably the decision to do so. And like that was like I had like thought about it before, but I also know how like living at the time, like I wasn't living at home when I started. Like I started a little bit later. Like some people start at 18 or sometimes even younger. Like it happens,
Mm-hmm.
but like I had to be living on my own, supporting myself because they're just like, well, you know, you have to be mature. Like you can't just
Sure.
go to wrestling school and live here. Like you need to get your life going. And then you can, if you can do that, then you can go do what you want to do. Cause just like, I get it. Like they're very old school. Like they're like, you're not going to live here and like decide to like live at home and like not be an adult and like not pay bills and then go pay X amount of money for wrestling school every month and just, not that there's anything wrong with that, but my parents are very traditional people. Like,
and they sent you off into life.
Yes, and that's why I'm saying shout out to them because if like they push me to have to be able to do these things, not saying that it's not possible, but like I take care of things, and like if I choose to have people in my life, it is solely by a choice. Like I don't need somebody to sustain life. Like I can sustain on my own and do well. And like, so like, that's always comforting, like in the aspect of a partner. Well, I don't have you here because I need you. It's like, you're here because it's a choice, which is always nice. You don't want to think that someone has you there because it's like, well, like, how do they even feel or whatnot? Cause they need me. Like you genuinely get to pick somebody due to like how you feel about them and not the necessity of having a person in general. So like I think about that, and granted, like you go through your 20s and whatnot and you're like making mistakes, you know, because that's life. And like now I'm at a point where it's like I'm actually making all this progress towards all these things that I want to do, and it's like a nice feeling because like say if it was different, maybe I wouldn't have that foundation. And I'm not saying like people that go and like are brought up differently, like of course they can do these things too, but like I almost am happy that it was in like, which is weird to say, that it was harder for me. Like I had to buy my first car, like I had to buy that.
So you could that's you know, a lot of parents that give a car to their kids.
No, my dad, he has his own business, he's a mechanic. So it was a customer's car. So we already knew it wasn't a new car. I bought this car in 2005. It was a 1993 turquoise Mercury Cougar. And I loved it. I loved that car ever since I was a kid. But, you know, I lived in a pretty well-to-do town, and in that time everyone was driving a 2005 or even the 6 because they
Mm-hmm.
came out the year before.
Sure.
Audi, Infinity. Now I had this Cougar, so it's like my dad had been working on it since it was brand new anyway, and he said he would do like the few repairs that it needed.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't get to go on their insurance plan either. They're like, absolutely not. That's a liability, pal. So you got to go get your own insurance. My first year of car insurance,
Wow.
$4,000 for the first
Jeez.
year. I was like,
How old were you at the time?
17.
Holy shit. Oh my God.
That you buy, like, if you're short, like, look, if you can't put gas in your car, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah. Oh, so your parents were no joke.
No, I had to get my first phone and like pay for my phone to have a cell phone. Like I didn't have a cell phone until I was in 11th grade.
But it's probably made you the person you are, those little things. You know what I mean?
Honestly, like, and they say like it's not a secret, like I'm from New York.
Uh-huh.
And it's like if you can get by here, you're pretty golden.
Yeah.
Like, New York is no joke. Like
Oh yeah.
Literally beat you so hard and like suck the life out of you.
Uh-huh.
And if you can like New York is expensive, and like just the way things go here, if you can manage, you're pretty solid. Like am I rich? By no means. Do I do pretty all right? Sure. But like that also comes with like busting my ass and working calls for it. Over time, I have more than one job. I do, like, I'm not gonna like, would I wish that things were a little bit different? Sure. But I'll sit here and proudly say I have 2 jobs, and sometimes I even have a third to make money. And you know, like the day that I buy a house, and I buy that house solely on my own with my own money and not a dollar from anybody else, like you're not going to be able to take away the pride on that. Like
for sure.
I didn't buy a brand new car until like right before my 28th birthday.
Oh,
and
wow.
Like nobody could take that away from me either. Like these are things that I did solely on my own.
Yeah, those are big accomplishments, the stuff that leads up to it, you know. Would you say you're a happy person today?
Today?
And not specifically like literally today, but like in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like,
oh no, it doesn't come off that you're not.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I definitely have days where I'm, you know, thinking about things, or like the pandemic definitely has put people in a mindset.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you know, it could always be worse. And like during the shutdown and everything, I maintained working. I was very lucky like that. And weirdly enough, very lucky. While some people suffered, I actually flourished, and I'm very fortunate for that. You know, like that's when things started to get better for me, and like how I started to like plan things and be able to save money and do things.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, like very, very fortunate on that, because unfortunately other people were not so fortunate.
Yeah. It's great. Are you not going to get the vaccine, or are you fine with getting it? Or you don't want to talk about that? 'Cause I would understand.
Oh, no, it's completely fine. I actually sit right before you, fully vaccinated.
Oh, so me too. I got really sick from the second one.
Yeah, I know a lot of people did. I got migraines and a sore arm, so it's like I was pretty lucky. But like when they told me, like I was just like, I'm gonna do everything I need to do, like today, in case tomorrow I'm like almost like bedridden. I like forced myself to go to sleep to try to like avoid it or whatever. So it's like maybe I had some of the side effects in my sleep too. Like I woke up the next day both times with like a migraine and my arm hurt. Then you know what, to me that's like minor, because so many people got so messed up from it.
Totally.
So I was like, okay, I actually went to work the day after both times, and I made sure I used my inactive arm, so that way it was just like you could function and be
like you have one dead arm and like the other one.
But yeah, I wanted it. Like I just feel that like I don't have children, you know, and
so lucky.
to make progress, somebody has to go take the risk. And like since I don't have anything like that, and like, you know, clearly I don't want anything to happen to me, but like if every single person says no, how is there ever going to be a solution?
Yeah, it'll never end.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna bite the bullet and do this because, like, if you think about it, let's date back to like any war we've had. You think that the men and women wanted to go get shot at?
Yes,
No.
exactly.
So, like, shot at with a bullet, shot with a needle in the arm, hoping that it helps you and other people out.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you weigh it out, and you're just like, yeah, I think this is a risk I'll take. Unfortunately, like, I actually think that it's helped me a lot because you find out that you get exposed to people regularly
Mm-hmm.
each time. Like, I think I had found out I was exposed twice, and like I never got it, and I still don't have antibodies. Like, I was lucky enough, again, like
Yeah,
very
wow.
fortunate to not
Uh-huh.
even get COVID during the time. Like, so lucky. Um,
Are you in
and I
like
would
a
say that
high
the
risk?
vaccine is pretty good. Hmm?
Yeah. Are you in a high risk profession outside of wrestling?
Um, I guess like I was essential, so it's like obviously
Okay.
like I wasn't like to the status of like a medical worker, but I
Sure.
actually got the first dose of the vaccine in early January. So I was like fully
Oh,
vaccinated
wow.
by early February, and then they say like you have the 2-week window. So
Mm-hmm.
by mid-February, I was at like the full capacity that the vaccine could provide for you.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yes and no. Like, so for the most part, yes. Like, I work with developmentally disabled adults,
Okay.
and being in that field with what you do, like going in, like I don't work in a group home, but like
Mm-hmm.
all of us fall into the same category. So it's like you do that daily, and it's like then you're helping these people that need your assistance.
Yeah, they're
So, and
depending
it's
on
like,
you.
yeah, pending on like that, and I guess like being around other people,
Mm-hmm.
I guess in a way that does. Like mine, I'm one-on-one with somebody, so I'd say mine was not as high risk as someone that
Okay.
used to work in a group home that has
Mm-hmm.
several people living there, several staff living there. And if like, well, actually for a while they were cut off from seeing their family, which was unfortunate. So it's like, but I guess to keep it safe and more um to make sure like there would be like as little exposure or risk as possible.
Okay.
But like that, and then always like wearing your mask and like following like it's hard because like in that like in the houses I'm sure they have like a specific protocol.
Mm-hmm.
um we have one, I guess, according to like my agency, but at the same time you're one-on-one, so I would do
Okay.
different protocols. Like if there was transport in the car, like you
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't sit in the front seat with me, you would sit diagonally in the back because that's space
Okay.
and masks, you know what I mean? And then
Mm-hmm.
I was always like still like even before that I always sanitize and spray down everything in my car anyway. I'm
Yeah,
kind of a
yeah.
germaphobe to begin with,
That's good to be.
so yeah, like just taking like whatever precaution possible to ensure like not just your safety but obviously the safety of
Yeah.
the person. Hello, Simba.
That's so funny. It was just out of nowhere.
Do you mind? Can you scoot the butt? Scoot it.
Lovely abdomen.
Right. He's chunky. He's a chunk.
It's so funny.
Come on, just lay down then. You can hang out.
All right. I'm going to take you back again in time. Do you remember the night before your first day of training? Like, were you able to sleep, or did you have nerves?
Probably a little bit, but yeah, very anxious. I was anxious up until showing up. When I got there, like the day before, because like again, I get very like anxious about things that I don't know. So the
Sure.
day before, I actually drove there so I could make sure. Simba, sorry, cameo from
problem.
cat.
Seriously.
I made sure I could find the place so that way I wouldn't be late the next day, because it's like the last thing you want to do is drive to an area you're not familiar with and be like, oh, the GPS is wrong, or it's like,
Yeah.
it wasn't like a warehouse area, so it's like the GPS takes you a certain way and then you have to find the unit. Granted, I turned and there it was, but I took a pre-drive the day before just because I didn't want
good idea.
being awkward and walking in and like class was going on already and like you're just like, oh, you know.
And you're going to your first day by yourself, correct?
To training?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And then the next day I got there really early and I parked and I was sitting there and we had like, I had the whole debate with myself in the car. It's like, can I do this? Can I not do this? Am I going in? Am I driving away? What are we doing? Finally,
Yeah, wow.
I got out of the car. Like now people are showing up and going in. It's getting close to the time to be in there. that I get out of the car and I finally get to the door and I'm like holding on to the handle and I'm like,
Oh no.
Then somebody else parks and they're coming to the door. So it's like, you can't just walk away now. I'm like,
yeah.
They're like, you're going in. So it's like, and that is my day before and day of experience.
So had you never been inside of a wrestling ring before?
At that point, no.
And did you feel you were physically ready going into your first day of training? Did you feel like, all right, I'm in good shape?
Nope.
No?
Nah, I was definitely pudgy. And I'm like, oh, maybe if I'm going to do this, I'm actually going to get in shape. And
Yeah.
like, if you look back on like years of me, like you will see I'm heavier, I'm lighter, I'm heavier, I'm lighter. Like I just fluctuate. If I don't stay on it, like not even like that, it's just I'd had a big tendency to like gain weight, like, you know, and for me, I don't know, it's like a mental thing. It's not so easy. So it's like, oh, I'll have a cheat day, but like a cheat day turns into like a cheat month, and you're like, hey, how'd I lose like 8 pounds? Like, you know, so things like that. So I did lose weight in the beginning, but that I had braces when I first started too.
Oh, were the trainers mean about that?
No. Like,
Okay.
I remember when I called to talk about like the day I would come and whatnot, and like making the decision to do that, I was flat out honest. I'm like, is this something I should like wait on? And they're like, no, because like, you know, for the most part, you know, that like accidents happen, but it should be fine. And like that wasn't an issue. And I don't actually, I guess I probably didn't, they were definitely off within my first year. I can't remember if my first match I had them still or not, but like within the first year of me actually starting training, like and like at that point they were off. So
okay, first bump, do you remember it?
Yeah. Terrifying.
Did it like make your head spin?
It hurt. I know that. And I like it felt like a gunshot. Like you take the little ones first, like so you start getting used to it, but the actual one where you kick your legs completely up and take that bump, I was like the sound of it and just the feeling, you were like, oh my God. But I guess at that point, once you get to that point, you're like, well, I now know what that's like, and this is just it now. So it's like, I think the hardest thing is actually getting to the point to actually taking the initial one. Like once you get past that, once you can get past that, you're doing better. And I remember like having to learn like the flip bumps too, and like that wasn't on the first day, but I knew it was going to come from. So I went to the job I had at the time. I called my boss. I'm like, I have to come over and practice something on your trampoline. She's like, I'm not even gonna ask, but okay. And so
and she didn't know.
Practicing and remembering what they were saying. Like, so like my first day, like they were doing stuff like, and I would just stop with what I could do. So it's like I was just taking back bumps, and like the people that were there longer, they would do the back bump, the front bump, the flip bump. So I knew it was coming for me. And I was like, I'm not making a fool of myself because, again, you know how I am. So I'm just like, I've got to be able to do this. Otherwise, if I can't, I'm not going to be able to move past this point, mentally. So that way, the day came when I actually was taught them, I was able to do them.
Oh,
and I was like, okay, yeah. So, and I was like, all right. So that was good because like, it was very important for me to be able to try to handle as much as I could, because if I got to the point where it's like I was already super uncomfortable and always nervous and anxious because it was something so far out of my comfort zone and being incredibly shy and just afraid that people will be like, to not have that happen, because the minute that would happen, not saying that anyone would have, but just the phobias overall, if that were to happen to me, I wouldn't be able to move past that and actually. My cat.
If you had to jump out of like a first story window or maybe like a half story window, would you be able to break the fall, land better than say like I could?
I mean, I actually don't know. And like maybe because like look, we've all slipped and fall before, and it's like you kind of I guess apply the technique that you know. But like I also think as far as like natural things, that's also natural instinct. You know,
Okay.
like we all know that you would never want to fall like directly with your knees locked because your legs would be ruined. I think a lot of it would be trying to protect yourself. So
Okay.
like I know things that would definitely help protect me, but like
Mm-hmm.
I'm also sure for another person in an emergency like status situation that hopefully their instinct would kick in, and like maybe it wouldn't be to the specific thing that like I could do or
Mm-hmm.
someone that's been trained, but like to help themselves. Because I
Well,
imagine
I
if I
might.
had to jump out of a window, I'm not taking a back bump. Like, there's no way I'm landing on my back.
Yeah.
I'm just going to try to come down. And instead of landing straight on my feet like that, I'm going to try to more absorb it with my knees bent and then try to brace myself. And I imagine that any person would probably try to do the same to avoid
Yeah.
major injury.
Well, I may have to find out from you off air, but I suspect my wife wants to throw me out of our bedroom window, so I may have to learn how to land. But we can talk about that some other time.
Well, if it's on the
First,
first floor, it's not that bad.
no, this is a second story, but she's got a
Okay.
bad temper. She's
Oh,
Russian.
shit.
Uh, okay, so your first match, did you feel you were ready, or did someone tell you just go out there?
Um, I felt like when they decided for that, like me and the other girl, we were like the only girls there, and she came in
Mm-hmm.
shortly after me. So like maybe within a month or so. And
Okay.
you know, for a while it was just like, oh, well, what like, but I guess that they had felt they're like, I think that they know enough that
Uh-huh.
it's gonna be okay. And like that felt okay. Um, but like my nerves up until like the match I had last month, my nerves
Mm-hmm.
hit me the same as they did back then. Like
Oh,
right
wow.
before it's time, like I'm like down on a knee, like taking breaths, and I'm like, oh my god, like here it is. And then I'm
Oh,
just
wow.
like I literally go like, I'm like, what? Why is this a thing? And then I just go and like be like, well, you know enough at this point, and if something goes wrong, like I feel like you have enough knowledge that you'll be okay. And like gotta have these pep talks with myself mentally.
Have you watched your first match?
Yeah, I've seen it. I had to watch it then specifically. Like, would I have seen it
Okay.
to date? Probably now, as long as there's footage. Probably yes. But like
Okay.
tape review is a very important thing. So we would all sit there the day after the show. Excuse me, buddy.
Uh-huh.
Um, and like so the next training day you would go, which was on Sunday. We
Okay.
would all sit there and watch the entire show from first match to the end, and then everyone would sit there and we would do a tape review together
Okay. And was it hard taking like? Did you ever get like
and talk
criticism?
about what was good, what needed work, you know, your
Mm-hmm.
overall progress. And it's just like, oh yeah, I'm sure I could still get her. Like there is no if ands but about that. Like I am not
Yeah. Yeah.
perfect. I can
Obviously.
have some good matches. I'm gonna just be honest, and this is probably gonna sound crazy. I am not the best. I will never be the best. I will give you my best. Like that is
Fine.
reality.
Uh-huh.
I can always learn things. I can go back and watch my own things and be like, oh, I wish I did that instead, or be like, wow, I really should have did this and that would have made that better. Or be like, if I see something as I'm doing it, I'd be like, I should have did that better. Like,
Okay.
and like, you know, I know if I'm gonna say that, then obviously the somebody else watching it would. I'll ask people that I definitely know will give me their honest opinion instead.
Okay.
Um,
Did you ever get
yeah.
offended?
So I'm like, no, no, because like, I mean, it's only to help and like an opinion. And they always say the whole thing all the time, flavors of ice cream. Like, I
Uh-huh.
think that if someone was just trying to rip you apart
Uh-huh.
to make themselves feel better and is tearing you apart literally just out of help somebody and you're being nice about it and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and like it's genuinely constructive rather than just trying to mind fuck you
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like just make you feel like inadequate. I think that's okay. If you're doing any of that other stuff,
Mm-hmm.
that I think is completely wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like
Well, in any like
I
profession.
just don't. I don't have a tolerance for that. Like, obviously, you had to take any type of criticism at the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's fine. If I see, like, I see sometimes people like, thank God, most people are good,
Mm-hmm.
but
It's breaking up again.
yeah, like, thank God, most of the time, almost everyone is good. But I have seen things before, and I'm just like, that is like, I don't, because like, I don't know, like, I don't like, yes, you have experience.
Was when you were training and started, wrestling matches, what did it was it a goal of yours to like win like championships at the places that you're wrestling?
I mean, probably yes, subconsciously, but like at the time, it's like I just wanted to learn. I wanted to be as good as I could possibly be, understand everything. And like, the hope is to like be able to do shows and just have like the best possible matches you could. Like that stuff actually was bonuses. And the fact that I was trusted with these opportunities really means a lot to me, because it's like, like, I don't know. Maybe like loyalty gets you really far too. Like if you like are professional and you're willing to because like, let's be honest, like there's times in wrestling where it's like you're not always gonna like what you're gonna do or hear.
Yeah.
And like you understand that it's a job that you have to do and you're gonna do it, So and then I guess sometimes like maybe people aren't so willing to do that, but like
sure.
No matter, I always did, like, if whatever was, like, asked of me or requested of me or needed to be done, I did.
And that, so they trust you. So the first time you won the Warriors of Wrestling Championship, so you win it, you walk back. What was the first thing you did? Like when you got back, like, did you go to a mirror first and see what it looked like on you? Or did you like race home and do that?
No. I think it was a lot to absorb. Like I still think like, it's like I already knew like what would happen and stuff, but I just think it's still a lot to absorb. And then being happy. And then that day I had wrestled 4 matches, so I was just like, processing all the matches and everything that has taken place and being like, okay. Yeah.
Do you have IWTV?
No.
Okay, go on. I'm sorry.
No, I know.
Because there's tons of your stuff on there.
Is there really? Okay.
Oh, from like the New York Wrestling Connection?
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff there.
I mean, I'm not home a lot where I get a chance to sit down, but I'm gonna have to get it. So the breathing, but like I'm scared, but I'm actually gonna go back and see some of the disasters.
No, it's pretty good stuff. Like, it's very entertaining.
Don't like, to be realistic again though, like I'm very well aware that I've had some really horrendous matches. Like
I've had everyone's had horrendous days, Like,
yeah, like I would never sit here and be like, I've only had great matches. Like there are like, to be realistic, like I've had some really horrendous ones.
But you learn from those, right?
Yeah, bad days. Obviously, like I do know that I would try not to.
No, go on.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Oh, I was gonna say, like, you try to absorb like as much as you can, and like if you do something you didn't like or it didn't work or whatever, you'd be like, well, I'm not gonna do that again.
So you've never like gone to like Fridays wearing your belt, or like like
no,
and just take it out in public with you, or do
no,
you ever? Have you ever slept with it? No. Okay.
No.
Like on your next pillow, on the pillow next to you. Oh, okay.
No.
I guess I might do some weird. It's good no one gives me a championship belt because I probably do weird stuff. At what point in training did you start working on your character or like kind of fleshing that out?
I knew what the goal was for me in the beginning, like when I first started.
Sure.
And I guess I would probably on my own time think about it, like, and be like, what do I do or whatever. But honestly, it was more like a wing it because, like I said, everyone expected in my first match for me to just be like, and then something just happened. Like, and no one ever thought that I would have the ability to be nasty or come off like a bad guy and just gross. And when it happened, I was just like even me, I was like, whoa. And even today, like, so like when I'm the bad guy, I'm still like, damn, because we all know, like, it is not like anybody that could like meet me knows that I'm nice. You know? Like,
yeah. So is it fun to do that? Is it more fun to?
It is. It is actually really fun because, like, I'm nice every day in real life. Like, so it is.
Yeah, it must be a great outlet.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I'll be mean, but that's okay because, like, nothing bad's gonna happen of it. I'm gonna go home after this and not be mean in real life, so it's fine.
Get it out now. What would you say is the best part of being a professional wrestler? I know it's a big question, but
the best part?
And I'm not going to ask you the worst part.
I imagine people have completely different answers for this. I will say there's like two things there. One, I will say it's clearly the wrestling that broke my shyness and like actually brought out the actual person that I am. Like, this person is there, like, by nature, like, something occurred that made me so shy and so quiet and reclusive. Like, wrestling, we got to the point where that completely shattered it and released me into being able to finally, and it took a very long time, like, even when I wasn't shy, but to finally break all barriers and just be like, this is who I am. You like me, you don't, cool. I know that I'm a good person, so we're good. So, and to just openly 100% be myself, no matter how strange or odd I am. And if you like me, like I said, that's awesome. If you do not, you know, life goes on. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you know, and honestly, I'm always polite and like good to people. So if somebody does find issue with me, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry you do. I don't know what to say to that. But I'm 33 and I'm not going to, I'm gonna be exactly, I'm 33 years old. I'm not 21. I'm not 15. I'm gonna be exactly who I am and who I'm meant to be. And the people that are in my life that are like my good people, like friends and everything, like, they're gonna be with me. And like the people that matter are on my side. And that's that. So I will say the best thing about that is I finally like broke all those barriers down. And then on like the actual wrestling aspect of it, I will say I absolutely love the idea of how to put a match together. And when I come up with an idea and it's like, we get ideas, sometimes they're good, sometimes they don't run as smooth as you think in your mind. But when you come up with a thing that you want to do, or it's like something you imagine and it goes well, but like, and you're so excited about it, you're like, yeah, it just, you're sitting there and it just clicks and you're like, yes, that's cool. Like, I like that. Like, and it happens to me at the weirdest times. Like, I could be like shopping in Target and I'm like, got it. And like nobody understands what's going on. And like, or like if you think of something and you're out somewhere and you're like doing motions and everyone's like looking at you. And all I say to them is, because I'm not gonna provide an explanation. All I'm gonna say is, it makes sense. Don't worry about it.
There's a reason for this. It's not involuntary.
Right. And just let them be puzzled in whatever nature they need to be and just go on.
Again, that's their problem. All right. I'm going to let you go soon, but I have a ton more questions, but can I ask you 5 non-wrestling related questions? They're just yes and no's. Okay. Have you ever had a lasso that compels other people to tell the truth, and then you grew up on an undiscoverable island, and you also fly an invisible jet?
No.
Have you ever had that stuff? No. Okay.
I wish.
Can you do the dance, the Roger Rabbit?
No.
Okay.
I don't dance well at all, so.
No, me neither. For $9,000, would you go on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, whatever, and declare yourself a flat earther? But you have to keep up the charade for a year.
What was it though? What do I have to do?
You have to go on like Facebook or Instagram and say, I don't believe the earth is round. I believe it's flat. And you have to keep that up for a year. And you can't tell anybody, not even your family.
I'd probably do that for no money just because it's hilarious.
Oh, yeah, because it'd be funny.
I think like people's reactions to that would just be like hilarious.
And now I'm realizing I asked this next question already. Have you ever had lice?
Ever have what?
Lice?
Oh, like in your hair?
Yeah.
No, actually, I never had. Not even as a kid. Like I got really.
That's
lucky.
what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Like, I mean, my mom was always really good with that. Like, they have like the special shampoos and stuff, so we had that. I got really, really, really lucky. I never actually had it.
Oh, okay. All right. You've done great. The last question: are you a witch? And you have to tell me if you are. I think I don't know much about witchcraft, but I think if you asked, you have to be honest. So, are you a witch?
No, but I will say this though. I do have a pentagram that's pointing up on my neck, and people will be like, wait a minute, but I'm going to clarify that as well. When it points up, that is only meant for good. If it points down, you have a problem. And I have that because I thought it was cool, and it actually means the opposite of what everyone would think. If I had it point like the tattooed pointing downward, yeah, I would say that's a problem. But mine actually points upward, and it's meant only for like goodness. Like it's meant for like downward they say is evil, but it's only meant for good and like prosperity, good health, all fortune, all those things. Like it's more meant for like a positive positive influence. So yeah, that is tattooed on the back of my neck.
You've heard of a swastika, obviously.
Yes.
Did you know that if it's flipped, it means something completely different? It's like more of like a peaceful thing. Like they have it on like the Baha'i churches.
I am not remotely shocked, actually. Like I didn't know that, but I'm not remotely shocked at all because honestly, that's usually how things go. There's always an opposite. Like you have the yin yang sign, there's always a yin to the yang. And the thing is, if people investigate things and learn something, there's always something to be learned, and it's not always is what it seems. Do I think people should support them without any explanation? No, but like there's usually something bad is always usually derived from something good. It's just that the make it bad. Like that's
someone takes it too far.
Humanity takes something and literally destroys it, and that's it. And when that happens, that's it. Like if you think about that, well, we reference that. Think about Germany. How long did Germany have to suffer due to a reputation not based on German people, based on Nazi Germany, and all of that had to suffer with it.
They're still I think suffering from that.
Honestly, yes, in some capacity, yes. And like you think about that, and that's a shame because like these people had nothing, like not like.
There's a German equivalent of me somewhere who doesn't want, who doesn't want to have anything to do with Nazis or anything. Right. Just a normal person.
And there's bad people in any area or capacity of life in the world. So it's like, like the German person chose not to be a Nazi. They didn't believe in that. And like, they weren't involved in that,
Well, today we've learned that you've overcome anxiety, and wrestling has been like the ultimate therapist. We've learned that you're a tomboy, and we learned that you're not a witch. So, but I still have tons of questions. So hopefully I can have you back on for a part 2. And I have like 36 other questions, something like that.
Sure. And then in part 2, we can talk about for at least 30 minutes, my literal obsession with Freddie Mercury and Queen.
Oh, no, really? Oh, God, we definitely have to. I love Queen.
If you look at my social media, it's constantly about them. Like
I was I was listening to the Flash Gordon soundtrack today.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
so funny you bring that up because I mean, that's amazing. Okay, so part 2 for sure. All right, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you coming on and giving me an hour already. So thank you
no
so much.
problem. Thank you
And
for having me.
my pleasure. If you ever need to say anything, like if you have an arch enemy, you need to get something out, you're always welcome to come out. Standing invitation.
Thank you.
All right, listen, you take care, stay healthy, and we'll talk in a bit.
Okay, thank you.
All right, take care. Bye.